Hi, I'm Alexander Maxim from PHP and IO. Today we will continue our series about PHP. We will check the ABS method, the Acos H, and the Asin methods. All the functions or the methods that we will explain today are mathematical functions. We need insights that provide mathematical equations and graphs. These functions are used to apply the equations. If the user wants to see the value that any function will return, he only enters the number and the function returns the result. Let's start with the ABS method. What's the ABS method? This method or this function returns the absolute value of a natural integer or real number. Thus, it will remove the sign from the specified number so that when it's a negative number, it eliminates the minus sign before the number. It's always therefore impossible to get a negative number with this function. They will always be positive. It's therefore a very useful function to keep the natural part of the number. It has the expression as parameter. This parameter is used to specify an expression representing a number to process. It returns a number greater than 0. These values are the only ones that can be returned. The absolute value of a number is always positive. Let's take an example to understand the ABS method. I will use echo to print the hidden. I will create a number which is minus 25, and I will pass this number to the ABS method, and I will print it using the echo method. Let's reload and see the results, and we have now 25. So the ABS method has deleted the minus from this number and return this number with the positive sign. Let's see how it works. So we have the arg interval between minus infinite and plus infinite. When we pass the argument minus 25 to the ABS method as parameter, it will return the number without the minus sign. So it will return the positive number. Imagine if we have 25 here, it will return the same number but in the positive side. It will return 25. This is the ABS method. We have, for example, a user. It will enter minus 25. We will pass this value to the ABS method as the input value parameter, and this method will be passed to the server, to the PHP server. PHP will process this value and return the positive value to the user to be in the web page. This is the ABS method. After that, we have the Acos method. What's the Acos method? This method or this function returns the cosine arc of number. The Acos is the inverse function of cos, which means that A equals cos Acos A for any value in the validity range of a cos function. It has the argument to be treated and it returns the arc cosine of the argument in radians. Let's see how it works. I will use echo to print the echoes with the value, for example, 0. Let's reload and see the results, and we have 1.57, etc. Let's see how it works. So we have the Acos method and the argument interval or the field between -1 and 1. So it starts from -1 and terminate with and finished with 1. This is the graphic curve of the Acos method. When we pass the 0 to this method, it will return 1.57. Imagine if we pass a number out of the validity range, what it will return. Let's try it. For example, we pass 2, reload, and it will return not a number. So if we have a number, for example -2 or 2, out of this graph, it will return not a number. So before the user enter, for example, the value here in the input for the Acos method, we must firstly test and verify if this value is in the validity range or no. The Acos will be treated or will be purchased in the server, and it will return the value to the web page. After that, we have the Acos H method. What's the Acos H method? This function returns the hyperbolic cosine arc of an argument. It has the expression as parameter. This parameter is used to specify the expression containing the number to be processed. Let's see an example to understand more. I will copy the same title. I will use echo, and I will pass Acos H, for example 3, and here 0, 0. Let's reload and see, and we have 1.76, etc. Let's see how it works. So we have the Acos H graph. When we pass, for example 3, it will return this value here. So we have the interval from 1 to the plus infinite. When we pass 3, it's in the field, in the validity range. When we pass this value to the Acos H as parameter, it will return this value. So when the user enter, for example 3, to the Acos H method, the server will process this value and return the result to the web page of the user. And finally, we have the Asin method. What's this method? This method, or this trigonometric function, makes it possible to return the sine arc. It has the expression as parameter. This parameter is used to indicate the expression containing the number to be processed. The value of the parameter must be in a range between -1 and 1, otherwise the function will consider that domain error has occurred. It returns -p divided by 2 to -2 to p divided by 2. These values are used to indicate the radians of the sine arc. Let's see an example to understand more. So here we will use the same hidden, and I will use echo again, and I will pass, for example 0 to the Asin method. And let's reload and see the result, and we have Asin and 0. Let's see how it works. So the Asin, this is the graph from -1 to 1. This is the validity range. When we give the Asin method any number between -1 and 1, for example 0, it will return 0, because 0 here is 0. The value of 0 passed as parameter to the arc sinus is 0. If the user enters 0, for example, to the Asin method, the server will process the value and return the result to the web page of the user. Today we have learned the ABS method, the Acos H, and Asin methods. Thank you for your watching.